Welcome to the third lecture on programming skills using C. My dear friends, in this lecture you will learn to convert flowchart for some more problems into C code. Already I've done earlier in the lecture number 2. Learn to write flowchart and C programs for finding out the standard deviation, cosine of an angle in degrees and sine of an angle in degrees, and become aware of some of the white space characters used in C. This is what we are going to learn during this lecture. Let us begin with this problem of standard deviation. And here you have a formula, looks very difficult. Standard deviation is equal to square root of sigma xi squared divided by n, sigma xi by n whole square formula. Now let us try to understand this formula. Let us try to dissect this formula and make it into useful, easy units. So we are supposed to find out the standard deviation of 5 numbers. We input 5 numbers and we want to find out the standard deviation of these numbers. So we consider this as term 1 and this as term 2. Now what is this term 1? Term 1, as you see, sigma xi square by n. That means square mean of the squares of 5 numbers. N is 5 here. Mean of the squares of 5 numbers. That is x1. There are 5 numbers x1 to x5. x1 squared plus x2 squared plus x3 squared, etc. divided by 5. That becomes the mean of squares of 5 numbers. That is the first term. Second term is sigma xi by n whole square. Sigma xi by n is nothing but average. So I find out the average and say average into average will give you sigma xi squared by n whole square. And that is your term 2 is equal to mean of 5 numbers whole square. What is mean of 5 numbers? Sum of these 5 numbers divided by 5 and multiply again by the same, then you get the term 2. So therefore our task would be first of all to find out term 1 and term 2, and from there we find out the square root of term 1 minus term 2. That will give us the standard deviation. This is the algorithm. First input 5 numbers, find the sum of 5 numbers, find the sum of squares of 5 numbers. So we will give these variable names as sum x square, sum x. They are very representative. Just by reading those variables, we know what they represent. Term 1 is equal to therefore sum x square divided by 5, sigma xi square divided by 5. And then we find the average of 5 numbers. Average is equal to sum x by n, this one. And then term 2 is equal to average into average. Therefore, standard deviation is square root of SQRT is the function. We are going to use that. And term 1 minus term 2 will give us the standard deviation of 5 numbers. We are going to come back to the same problem at least 2-3 times. At the moment, it is only 5 numbers. Then we will say n numbers, etc. So now is the time for you. Pause the video and write the flow chart and pseudocode for this problem. Spend some time. If you have completed, now we start this the flow chart start, and we declare 5 variables x1 to x5, t1 term 1, term 2, average, sum x square, and standard deviation. We input 5 numbers. That is what we are supposed to do first. That is what we are. And then we find sum x. Sum x is equal to sum of 5 numbers. What is sum x squared? Is x1 into x1 plus x2 into x2 plus x3, etc. x5. What is t1? T1 is equal to sum x squared divided by 5, and average is equal to sum x by 5. Therefore, T2 is going to be average into average, and standard deviation is equal to SQRT of T1 minus T2, and we print the value, that is standard deviation is equal to standard deviation. So this is the flow chart for finding out the standard deviation of 5 of these numbers. Now, conversion of this flow chart into a C program. First of all, as you have been telling you, give the name stddev.c would be the name of this code, the program, and you say what it is, standard deviation of 5 numbers, by whom and on which day. So kindly write that. Now you write the code for this flowchart. You have the flowchart, convert that into very good code, C code with all the prompts. Please remember that all the prompts are very important. Clear in the scheme, having a title, having proper margin, etc. Pause for some time once again. I hope you have done that, and with that we come. So first we declare. In every C program, we first declare the variables. So all these are the variables. These are integer, first 5 plus 6, that's 5, 6, 7 of them. Then float, average is a floating number. T1, T2 are floating numbers. Standard deviation also is going to be a floating number. Then we clear the screen. Then we give the title, program to find the standard deviation. Remember, slash and means go into the next line. Enter 5 numbers. So we have to give all these prompts, all this instruction to the person who is using your program. Then we scan percentage %d 5 times, ampersand x1, x2, etc. So 5 numbers. The computer will wait for you to enter 5 numbers. And here we find the sum of those 5 numbers, find the sum of squares of those 5 numbers, find T1, the first term, find the average of those 5 numbers, calculate T2 by multiplying average by average, and then we find out standard deviation is equal to SQRT of T1 minus T2. Now SQRT is a function which is declared in math.h. Therefore you have to write include math.h, this library, and then only it will be able to compile this program, and with that we complete this program. Very simple, but sometimes people feel it very difficult. Not at all. If you are able to just analyze the problem, analyze that complicated equation into term 1 and term 2, etc., it is very, very simple. And with that we go to the next problem. Again, we are supposed to write flowchart and C program to calculate the cosine of an angle in degrees by summing the first 5 terms of the cosine series given below. I have given you the cosine series here. Cos of x is equal to 1 minus x squared by 2 factorial plus x to the power 4 by 4 factorial minus x to the power 6 by 6 factorial plus x to the power 8 by 8 factorial. There is a mistake here. This should be 4 factorial. So this is the cosine series. There are many more terms, but we are interested at the moment only in summing first 5 terms. Now you may be wondering, are you going to memorize this? Need not memorize. There is nothing to be memorized in computer science. Let us see how you can really arrive at this equation. Cos of x. Suppose the value of x is 0, theta is 0. Then what happens? You know cos of 0 is equal to 1. Therefore, the first term is 1. T1 is equal to 1 minus x squared divided by 2 plus x to the power 4, x to the power 6. As you see, every term, next term is got by multiplying the previous term by x squared. So you multiply 1 by x squared, you get x squared. Then the square, therefore 2 factorial, x to the power 4, therefore 4 factorial, x to the power 6, therefore 6 factorial, x to the power 8 by 8 factorial. So you have to only remember the first term, and that is also got by finding out the cos of 0, that is equal to 1, and then automatically you can write any number of terms. And remember, plus minus plus minus plus minus plus, next one will be minus, etc. Now what is the value of x here? We enter, we said by summing flowchart cosine of an angle in degrees. I have to enter the value in degrees. This is not degree. The x is in radians. So therefore theta, which is in degrees, has to be first converted into radians. How do I do that? Pi into theta divided by 180 will convert the value of theta into radians. Again, remember pi we have come across earlier. Pi is 3.14159 or 22 divided by 7.0. So that has to be used. First you have to convert that. So cos of 0, as I have given 1, cos of 90 is equal to 0, and T1 is equal to 1. How do you get T2? How do you get T3, etc.? Now it is your job to write the flow chart for this problem. Pause your video for some time, write the flow chart. After completing the flow chart, come back to the video. I hope by this time you have written the flow chart for this. I am going to show you how this flow chart is written. So first we always begin with the start, and then we declare these variables theta, x, cos x, t1 to t5. These are the different variables. In flow chart we do not tell what kind of variables, integer, float, etc. We just write the name of these variables. So next what would you do? You are supposed to enter theta value for angle in degrees, maybe 0, maybe 45, maybe 90, maybe 360, maybe 180, 270, etc. That is what you are going to do. What are you going to do next? You have to convert that theta into value of x radians. As I said, 22.0 divided by 7.0, theta into 1 divided by 180. So theta in degrees is converted to radians because all these values are in radians. And with that, we write t1 is equal to 1. T2 is what? As you know, x squared divided by 2 factor 2. What is 2 factor? 1 into 2. I am very sure most of you have written like this. T3 is equal to x to the power 4. X into x is 4 times. Divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. And then you get cos is equal to T1 minus T2 plus T3 minus T4 plus T5. This is, I am very sure, most of you have written like this. Very good. It is a program which is working, but as I will tell you, it is not a very good program. I would like you to write very succinct and good programs. I will show you how to write that. Though this program will run, this is a flowchart is okay, and preview convert this into C program and it will also run, but I am not satisfied with this. I would like you to think now. I would like to teach you how to do this, make this program a better program, or the flowchart a better flowchart. Again, let us go back to this series. As I said, this is T1, the first term. This is T2, this is T3, this is T4, T5. How do I get T1? As I said, multiplied T1 by x square. So therefore, T2 is equal to T1 into what? T1 into x square divided by 1 into 2. 1 into 2 is the 2 factorial. Now T3. How do I get T3? I have to multiply T2. This is x squared multiplied by x square. You get x to the power 4. How do you get T3? T2 into I need to get x to the power 4 and 4 factorial. How do I? Already I have got 1 and 2. Therefore, I need to multiply by 3 and 4. Automatically it becomes, because T2 contains 1 and 2. When you multiply, divide by 3 and 4, it is going to be 4 factorial. Please remember, I have made a mistake there. And so that is T2. How do you get T4? Now you write T4 is equal to T3 into x divided by 5 into 6. Therefore, you get 6 factorial because there is already 1 into 2 into 3 into 4. I multiply by 5 into 6. It becomes 6 factorial. And the last fifth term is got by multiplying T4 with x square divided by 7 into 8. And therefore, we have got all the 5 terms. And very simple, cos x is equal to T1 minus T2 plus T3 minus T4 plus T5. And you can display this value. Kindly go through this again, and it is your task now to convert that into a better flowchart. You have written earlier flowchart. Now rewrite this flowchart with this algorithm. Pause your video. You will learn only if you pause your video and write, otherwise you will not going to learn. I would like you to learn programming, learn analysis. So with that we come again to the second flowchart. As it is done earlier, we have got these variables. You input theta, you convert that theta into radians, and here you have. So you assign 1 to T1. Then T2 is equal to T1 into x1 divided by 1 into 2. T3 is equal to T2 into x divided by 3 into 4. T4 is equal to T3 into x 5 into 5 into 6. T5 is equal to T4, etc. And with that, I have got the value of cos x is equal to T1 minus T2 plus T3 plus T4 plus T5. So I have calculated. Now I display cos x, cos of theta is equal to cos x, and this is a complete flowchart for the same problem, cosine. Now it is your task to convert this flowchart into a C program. C program. I would like you to first write the C. Pause again. Pause. You pause this video and write complete C program with the box. Please remember that box is very important, giving all the details. then lot of prompts and proper margin. Please learn this. Skills of writing very good programs is very, very important. Yes, now here you have got int theta. You could also have written as float also, but I have made it at int. Then float cos x t1 t through t5 etc. So here very important, clear the screen, system clear, enter the value of angle in degrees. So I scanf and ampersand theta. So I entered the value in degrees, maybe 30, maybe 40, maybe 0. Always use good values. For example, first you select 0, then you will select 90, then you will select 30, 45, 180, etc. to test whether your program gives correct answers. Because when you enter 0, automatically it has to give 1. And if you get 90, it has to give you 0. So that is the way to test your programs. So here we have done all this, and cos x is found out, and cos of percentage d, because I want that number. Suppose you have entered theta as 45, it has to appear here. Or if you have entered theta at 0, immediately it has to come 0 there, and automatically this is going to be, there's made a mistake again. You can make it into 5.4 percentage f. Let there be for 4 decimals. 4 decimals. Then cos x. So you convert this into 5.4. That means 4 decimals will be there. So this is the program you have written. Now your task. I have explained to you completely how to write a flowchart for cos of x. Now your task would be to write flowchart for sine of x. As you see, it's the similar series, but in this case, first term is x. How do you know first term is x? You know sine of 0 is 0. Therefore, first term has to be x. And the rest is got by multiplying the previous term by x squared. Therefore, this has become x to the power 3. Therefore, this is 3 factorial. This is x to the power 5. Therefore, 5 factorial. X to the power 7 by 7 factorial, etc. And x is equal to 3414159 into theta divided by 80. So, kindly write good flowchart and then C program. Then also next problem I have given a polynomial here. You have to enter this polynomial. Now instead of writing 5 into x into x into x, you convert that into this format. 5x plus 3 into x plus 2 into x plus. So this becomes easier. The computer need not find for x to the power 4, x to the power 3, x to the power 2, etc. In one go, it is going to find out the value. So this is how, therefore, you have to convert this complicated equation into a simple equation. So that is the work for you. So spend some time now and then complete these two programs. And with that, I come to the execution of C programs in Unix or Linux environment. I would like you to work on Linux environment, very important. Industry uses that. So you should be very proficient in using Linux environment. So the Linux environment, so you have first you save your programs as not add numbers, in this case cos x or sin x etc. .c. This is first program we have written, add numbers.c. So you have saved it as number.c. Go to that directory and say cc compile add numbers.c dash o, and you write the name how it has to be compiled. So add numbers.exe. So that is, or you can just say cc add numbers, that also is okay. This is what you have to do. Then if there are no bugs in your program, it will automatically compile it and give you the object file. And then to run the file, please always remember you have to say period / and you say add numbers.exe. So please note, always add the period forward and before the compiled program name. And then and one more case, as you see in the place where you are using square sqrt, then you have to include math h, and while compiling in Linux you have to cc, in the case of standard deviation.c dash o standard deviation.exe dash lm has to be given. If you don't write lm, it will not compile. Please remember, first thing is include math h and then use /lm. I'm giving you some of these white spaces I mentioned about. /n for line feed, go to the next line. /t for tab, that means go to the next column, the next tab, and etc. There are other white space characters are there, which we may use eventually. This is /0 is very important later when we work with the strings. We are going to use that null character. So yes, thank you very much. I hope it has been a very useful lecture.